Hey guys, so I wanted to make a voiceover video going over my full entire squat and bench press workout just over 6 weeks out from competition. So this is going to be my top double RPE 7 was prescribed. I call it more around a 7.5, which isn't like that big of a deal. I'll probably just make a smaller load increase next week on my squats, but this is a big PR. My best in competition is 474. And that moves really, really well. I definitely think I have at bare minimum 501 right now on squats. Felt pretty fatigued going into this session, but my warm-ups felt pretty good, and I basically will film my sets and I look at my bar speed as an addition to my internal rating of exertion and kind of make a judgment call off of that. It's kind of like using a velocity tracker, but in more of an affordable way, I guess. After that, I had percentage backdowns, minus 12% load for 4x4, so I did 3,997, about RPE 628. I don't really think I got above a 7 um, on my sets, but I wanted to just talk about a little bit of cues I do use when I'm squatting. So number one thing is just allowing my torso to naturally lean over a little bit more, and then really gripping the floor with my big toe. And then also I found that on the concentric, kind of really just having that full foot pressure and kind of more so like it's kind of weird. Like I do grip the floor with my toe, with my big toe, but I also will kind of like slam like my heels into the ground a little bit more, really have that full foot pressure. Um, but yeah, this was a tough session, but all these lifts I'm hitting right now are PRs, and I'm feeling really, really, really confident right now. And technique does feel a lot better on squats. Um, I think the number one thing that's just allowed me to make better progress is just being really, really honest with my abilities on the day. I'm really just trusting that as long as I am hitting my RPEs and following my program properly, then technique is going to come along. Um, and so yeah, I feel like squats definitely fatigue me the most out of all of the lifts, especially with my back. It's just because when I squat kind of medium high bar stance, and then I have very long femurs and a very short torso, so I just have to lean over a lot more, and there's a lot of extension demands. But that's why my training approach is centered around belt squats, and then I usually will use 1 to 5 reps on my bench press. I mean, on my squat to kind of get some more actually that skill practice. After that, I did bench press. So this is a top set of 3 with 292 at RP7. And this is like the first time that my bench has actually felt really strong. And one of the things I actually had a big breakthrough with in my training is I realized I was overarching, and that resulted in me losing a lot of stability towards lockout, and just overall not really having as much power off of my chest. I also have kind of found that with my leg position and leg drive, this is what I have right here, a little bit more of a wider stance. My toes pointing a little bit more out, seems to be a lot more stable. It really helps reinforce that good position. And really just allowing, what I'm also thinking of is keeping the bar heavy in my hands and keeping my elbows under the bar slash just staying with the bar instead of kind of being a little bit jerky on my bench press, which is something I do have struggle with. But like overall, like this is probably the best that my technique has looked, and I think that's a big reason why everything went so well. I've also been using a little bit more of some maximal back down approach, since I tend to fatigue pretty hard on bench. And there's also some more research that kind of just shows that, like, while volume is important for strength, it's the top end exposure and kind of setting up your training week so that you're really, really strong for that top end exposure. That's really going to be helpful for your overall long term progress. So I've just found that doing more of some maximal work after my my top sets is kind of what I have to do, and I take a bigger percentage back down, and just because I fatigue pretty fast on bench is what I found. So I just found hey, I have to take a bigger down sets, and that kind of helps me control my fatigue better. After that, I had incline dumbbell press. I'm pausing every single one of these just because, again, I want to focus on that control, staying with the weight, not jerking, and also this just helps me manage my fatigue a little bit better. So I did 3 sets of 10 to 12 at like an 8 to 9 RPE. On my accessory pressing, I kind of probably more around like a 7 to 8, but like 8 to 9, it's just like I'm very, very explosive of a presser. And it's hard until it looks easy until it's not, essentially. That's just kind of long arm boy problems. And then after this is belt squats. I did 610 for a 3 by 10 to 12. And this is honestly like the biggest leg accessory for me and the biggest driver of my squat, I do believe, because I've just been able to have a way better stimulus to fatigue ratio since it takes out my spine. And like I said, on squats, it feels more like a back workout than a leg workout for me. And this allows me to really load up my quads. I can go down really low. I can really push myself really hard on this. Like I definitely go more towards like a 9 RPE on these. And what I do is I have one day where I do 12 to 15 reps, and then another day where I do 10 to 12 reps. And that's just been working really well for me. And honestly, like I kind of found the formula with my squat this past year, and that's just using a higher volume squat day with either leg press or belt squat after, then lower volume strength day within 1 to 5 reps, and then doing belt squat and leg extensions after. And that's just been consistently working. I've been able to add 10 kilos a month. Every single 3 months to my squat like clockwork. So after that, just did some chest flies just because I want to get my chest bigger, stronger. A lot of my training protocol is centered around, and overall training theory for strength is very muscle centric. So focusing on hypertrophy of the prime movers, and then having strength skill on the actual competition lifts. Like I really think that's like I do program in higher reps. But I honestly view that, more of a fatigue management strategy and just overall practice. I do think that like 1 to 6 reps is more so like the cutoff for transference to like your 1 rep max. And after that, I did some leg extensions, really focusing on that terminal knee extension towards lockout and fully controlling it. Instead of lots of times people will just kind of swing up and down. I'm really focusing on fully locking out, being as forceful as I possibly can. You can kind of see the pad coming off of my off of my knees or lower legs. But that's something that I also have been focusing a lot on. This prep is just no matter how light the weight is, always moving with maximal intent. With trying to move the weight as fast as possible, no matter how light it is. But yeah, I'm currently 6 weeks out. Everything's feeling pretty good. I just want to give some insight into the full training session and kind of how things are going. So if you guys have any questions, just comment down below. Currently weighing in also 187 pounds right now. So weight gain is going good. I like how I look, looking lean, feeling strong.